So good morning, everyone. And as you see, the backgrounds have changed for a moment. Um, we've got here the global gong map of all the places that gong players have pinned themselves. As you can see, we're missing, oh, no, that's the wrong side. We're missing Australia. And so I please go on to Global Gong Puja and place yourself on the map. And I put a video on how to do that, so it should be relatively easy. I'm going to mute myself out and I'm going to let Robert and Don take over.
Oh, thank you, Yael. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
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 Woohoo! It's so nice to have the Gong family together. And today we've got another fascinating subject. We've got Tina, Maria, Stahl, we've got Julian, Minjun, and Martin Bläse. And they're going to talk to us about their gong making process, which is very exciting. And before we start, Don's going to give us our wonderful universal greeting that we're all going to do together. And then we're going to have a little bit of pranayama this morning, a bit of pranayama just to bring us all in, focus us all into one place. And so we can listen to our speakers who are going to share their experience, strength, and hope in their journey with the gong. That's right, Don, yeah?
Yes.
Great. So let's
All right,
start.
well, you can say this in your own language. This is the most important thing. You can paraphrase. You don't have to do it exactly the same way. But if you'll repeat with Bob, then we'll have a choir. We'll be the angelic choir singing these words in different languages. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
And I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
And I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
All wisdom flows from the highest source.
All wisdom flows from the highest source.
I honor that source in you.
And I honor that source in you.
Let us gong together.
Let us gong together.
Bob, if you would hit your gong, that would be really nice. Martin's got a gong he could hit too. Who's got a gong with them? Well, let's all hit the gong together and just... Well, we're going to have to work on that sound quality, aren't we?
Yeah, the tones are so low, the speakers can't handle it.
We'll figure it out some way, because being gong masters and not having good sound is a kind of a joke, yeah? So we have to heal ourselves. Oh, look at that background. Sug, nice background there. We were talking earlier about, because all the gong masters and sound healers around the world are really artists. We call ourselves sound artists, but really it's also visual artists as well. And so we were encouraging people to create a theater whenever we're on, that you make sure that your background is what you want and the lighting is good and all that. So you all to me look very nice. Shireen, you're in the shadow a little bit, but everybody else looks good, and you've got stuff coming out of your head. That's nice. All right. So therefore, I did a shruti this morning. You know, we do what we call hukams. You're just putting the up to your third eye, opening up, and then turning to the page, and that's your message. So I know it's not the theme for what you guys are going to present today, but I'll read what I hukamed. Sometimes, and these shruti songs, you know, are wonderful. I collect them. If you have a shruti song, please send it to me, because they're wonderful. This is shruti number 15. In the end, what matters most, after all is said and done. How well did we live? How well did we love? How well did we let go? And for our friends who are here no more, we reach and touch with our thoughts as never before. And that was an interesting one to pick, because we've just had one of our wonderful, wonderful Gong masters recently passed over. And you know how it is when you pass over, you're around. So I feel her presence today, and I will for a while. And you know who that was that passed over? Anybody?
Pauline.
Hmm?
Pauline? Who? Was it Pauline?
Well, Pauline? Yeah, Paula.
Paula.
Her name is Paula. And just was a wonderful soul, did so much good with her gong and working with children, working with the people in South America. So Pauline's in our hearts. Okay, let's begin. I'm so interested in what we're going to learn today.
Yeah.
So I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Don. Before we jump over to Tina Maria and Julian, Minjun, and Martin, did you want to take us to a little pranayam this morning, or are you happy for us to just start?
Well, look, when we play the gong, a lot of times we forget about our pranayama. So it doesn't need your pranayama. As long as you don't fall over and you're still alive, the gong doesn't mind. But for ourselves, it's a very good idea to choose a pranayama before you start to play the gong. And what is your favorite pranayama? Well, I don't know. Everybody says, well, cut to the quick. Let's do breath of fire. So breath of fire is a good one to warm up yourself when you start to play the gong. So let's just do a few minutes of breath of fire. We all know how to do it, you know. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Begin. Keep going. While you're doing this, remember, check out your face. Make sure that the corners of your lips are turned up a little bit. Your cheeks are up, and there's a light behind your eyelids. Now inhale, deep breath, and hold, and apply the locks and pull up. Smile. And release and relax.
Lovely. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our guests for today, Tina Maria, Julian, and Minjun. Hi, guys.
Nice.
They're going to talk to us today about their experience with gong making. I think also we have Martin on board today, Martin Bläse, who's going to probably chip in at some point as well. I'm so looking forward to this. I'm going to hand over to you guys to share your experience, strength and hope with us in your journey with the gong. Over to you. Thank you.
So, Satnam, everybody.
Satnam.
Satnam. Can you make this picture the center of the big one? Is it possible? Oh, no.
I tried.
So I would like to take you back. Oh, don't. It's okay. No. To a very important time in my life, a turning point, I will call it. So in 1981, as only 20 years old, I had a very strong calling that would not be denied. I had to listen to it, and it brought me to meet Yogi Bhajan, who became my spiritual teacher. And in the 80s, during the 80s, I was living a life in an ashram in Amsterdam. Ashram life, really pressure cooker, with a lot of people living together in a community, doing yoga, pranayama, chanting, finding new ways to eat healthy. And it was in this community that I first met the gong. Yogi Bhajan came to Europe, and it was actually here in Germany when at a White Tantric, I for the first time, where I was present, played the gong. Those days, it was really difficult to find gongs. They were not just a household item. They were not even ashram, not in all ashrams, but Yogi Ji, he was encouraging us for a gong in each ashram. And now I know in 2020, this has turned into a mantra, a gong in each household. But then a gong in each ashram was really something to go for. Then I had a long period of where the gong was not really present in my life. I moved back to Denmark and I didn't have a gong in my household. So it was not until I heard that a Kundalini yoga teacher, Metta Benton, he was teaching in Sweden. He was teaching an introduction in how to play the gong. He was teaching a workshop in gong therapy, gong astrology, Ayurveda and the gong, and I went to all of them. It became really, really clear to me that the gong is a teacher. To work with the gong in my daily life is helping me in my meditations, is helping me in my contemplations, and from then on, it is really a matter of, more and more diving into, different ways that the gong can be in my life. The first time I heard about Martin Bläse and his gongs, some of my friends had invited Martin to come to Denmark. So this must have been in 2018. And I wanted so much to go, and this weekend it was not possible for me. So as a very curious person I am, and never afraid to reach out, I contacted Martin and asked if I could come and visit him. He immediately accepted, and I came to Germany. And this was the first time actually I was introduced to these instruments which I am, for the last week, I have been working on to create. This is a little box. I don't know if you can see it.
It's fun. It's good.
And it has all the planets. It comes with a little book where you can read about all the planets. And I immediately thought, I need to get this little box with all the planetary Trigons. I found that I will display it for you. I don't know about how you can hear it. So for me, I use them in my classes. When we tune in, all the students will get a little Trigon, and we can open our voices with we sit with the little gong and tune into the frequency. Also for traveling, I love to take them, and yeah, sometimes you all know, you're all gong players, you know what it is to shove around big gongs. Here you have all the planetary frequencies in one box. I mean, what's not to like? Yeah, we have some photos. Should we see? Should we go to the photos?
Oh, no, as you wish. I just wanted to remember that we don't forget them.
Yes,
nice.
We have photos for you. We will show some photos in a minute. I mean, I could talk. I have a lot of things on here. The Gong Caravan of Peace, when I traveled with Don and Surana through countries to play for peace. The Gong teacher training, but I think I will skip right to the workshop, because Minjun also has a lot of things to tell, and we also want to leave time for your questions. So should we show some photos from the workshop?
Yeah, of course.
Julian is helping screen sharing. Let's see.
So yeah, these photos we've made.
So this is the photos. This is from this time here. Here you can see actually at this step, many steps has gone before actually this step but here I am hammering the whole metal sheet of what is becoming the Trigon. Martin Bläse is teaching me how, when the metal is coming from, we receive it in huge, very heavy plates, which then later is cut out for these small Trigons. And it is industrial metal when it's arriving. So while hammering, I am actually using my pranayama, I'm using mantra, I'm using intention. And yes, it can start with my intention that I choose a pranayama and I choose a mantra. But in the process, it's also a question of really getting into a flow and not more open up for the sound frequency to come through, and knowing that this beautiful little tool of healing will go out into the world, and somebody will use it in their healing sessions, in the meditation classes. So yeah, it's a blessing, I guess, that yeah. We can talk about later. I know you want to talk about it also.
Tina, I just want to ask a question that a lot of people are wondering. So, you know, we did have a session on how to make gongs, and there's so much that goes into the hammering and the frequency. And and hearing about how you place your intention pranayama is really fascinating. But what motivated you to want to create sound instruments?
Yes, thank you, Yael. This is a very important question. I found that when I was playing the gongs, in the beginning, I would go and purchase a gong to come home with me to work with. And I felt such respect for the people who are providing us with these instruments, who are actually creating these gongs for us. And I guess it's I want to serve, I want to share and be of service to the community. And it really makes so much, gives me meaning and direction in my life to be working with the creation of these instruments. So I'm really thankful, Martin, that you are accepting me as your student. Oh.
And Martin, you have that. I'm trying to unmute you. You have that beautiful gong in the background there, which has a dolphin on it, and I gather that is a titanium gong behind you there.
Yes, of course.
Wow. So this is a relatively new material to start making gongs from. What inspired that?
It's a very, very long story.
What would it be if you were to essence it down to the kind of the essence? What would it be?
Oh. My grandfather started to make gongs in my family, and my father does it. And I'm a silversmith, and I've learned to create big things of metal, not only treasures, but chalices, something like this. And I was always also interested in sound, and I'm also interested in how different metals could sound, and how could I rise the sound quality. That was my most important interest. How can I rise the sound quality of each metal, of each different metal? And there's a long way how to come to titanium gongs. And each Monday I'm talking about my gong stories at the moment, and it's a long story.
It's beautiful.
But if somebody is more interested, maybe I can share my link.
That'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I know one particular person, Margaret, who probably would love that gong with the dolphin on. Right, Margaret? She loves dolphins. Minjun, you have a story too in this process. And I believe you and Julian would like to share some of that with us.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Also, because it's the first time for Minjun to do something like this in English, I gonna have just a conversation with her and gonna support her a little bit, or translate whatever comes.
That's fine.
Yeah, so we're gonna start, Minjun.
Yeah.
So maybe you just introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Zhou Minjun. I come from China, and I'm living and working now in Germany. And my educational background is classical opera singer, and I'm a singer. And now I'm working in metal instrument smith by the master of silversmith and gongsmith Martin Bläse.
Yeah, nice. But what's actually like? How did you come here? How did your story begin? Like, because I know you have been learning classical singing 10 years, but how did you cut off with this?
Yeah, about 2 years ago, I decided to start my new life. And at that time, I don't know what I really want, but I know what I don't want.
Yeah, you knew what you didn't want, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then I want to try something new. And I went to a Thai yoga massager training. And by the training, I have my first experience with Gong. And it was so fascinated, the sound of Gong. And then I decided I should be under the Gong, asleep under the Gong.
So you sleep under the Gong?
Yeah, I sleep 7 days under the Gong. And I play the Gong every day when I get early, I get up and sleep.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, all right. And then how did you come to Martin Bläse?
Yeah, and after the training, I called you, Julian, and talk you about what's the happening in the Thai yoga massager. And then what you say?
Yeah, it was actually really funny because 3 days before Minjun called me, I called Martin Bläse whether I can have an internship at his place, and Minjun didn't know anything about it. So it was kind of universal coincidence or whatever. And yeah, I told her I'm gonna make an internship at the Gong Maker. She asked me whether she can join, and we decided to go together. And now we live here.
9 months later.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Don, this is a great story. What I'm loving about this is that more and more people are coming forward and moving into or trying the art of making their own instruments.
Yes. Well, I like the idea so much of the spinning bell gong, like that. Maybe they could talk a little bit about what effect it has in the acoustical space, and how they use the spinning gong, bell gong.
So Tina, the spinning gong you made there, the Trigon you call it?
Yes.
Yeah. You said that you use it to tune in your voice.
Yes.
Yeah. What would that process look like? And also, what effect does that have on the brain, on the, what that sound? Do you play it and spin it at the same time?
Well, I will, in a class, I will ask who would like to sign up for holding one of the little ones, and people will come forward, the people who need to try to tune their voice into. So you strike, you can see first, this is the planetary symbol. Yeah. And if you want to know more about the frequency and which planet, then we have this little book by Don of gongs of the solar system, where you then can read about the frequency and the meridian and a lot of information. And then when you play, so each participant can sit quietly and work with the frequency to feel it in their throat chakra.
Wow.
Martin, do you want to talk about about the spinning effect?
Yes. It's not really the right melody. It's a little bit too big. I was not. But you can see it how to spin while playing, and I must take something else.
Oh wow, Martin's gone off to get something else. So Don,
Bob. Yeah, Bob. I I really like the spinning Burmese Buddha bells, gongs. I first ran into them, I think it was in 1984. A man by the name of Job Matuso, may not be a name that you know, he's gone now, but he used to make bowls and bells and gongs in New England. And I used to visit with him. And he had a magic mouse show for little children. And what he would do is he would take all of these spinning Burmese Buddha bell gongs and he would hang them. I don't know if you've gone into a clothing store. They have these sort of spiral stands that go like this, and he would hang them around the spiral. You can, I don't have one anymore, but they're really nice for this. And then he put them all around the circle, and then he would play them as it goes up the spiral like that. He's gone now, but he used to travel around with a few of these stands and his Burmese Buddha bell gongs, and he would play for children, and he would, of course, he called it the Magic Mouse Show. So that's where I first became aware of these gong bells.
How many people in the group have got a spinning Burmese bell? Who's got one? And do we use it? Do people use it? Yeah, Jurek and yeah. Have you got one? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'd be interested for you to kind of grab it and show us it, or maybe in a second I'll try and get some ideas from you about how you use yours. Martin, you've got another one there. What's this one?
This is not tuned to planetary tones. It's a very old instrument for me, but I can show it better here because the mallet fits better. And I hope you can hear the sound.
I can see it, yeah.
And this special spinning sound is very interesting.
It is. It's got the kind of binaural effect.
Yes, and it turns the right way and the left way.
So Don,
they call it the Doppler effect.
Yes, Doppler effect. Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
So that Doppler effect, Don, would work left brain, right brain?
Yeah, well, the Doppler effect is a phenomena that occurs when the sound meets itself and cuts itself off, and it turns it into a kind of a beat pattern as it spins. So anyway, they're wonderful to have. Every gong master should have one of Martin's spinning gongs like that. And I was also wondering, about
Aiden's showing us his rotor gong there as well, which is another way to turn your gong into a huge spinning Burmese bell, Aiden. That's correct.
50, yes. 50, 60 inch, 50 or 60, 32, 28, 24.
I haven't got one that fixed out. Wicked. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don, the binaural beat, the effect that it has on left brain, right brain, what it does with this bell. Just talk about that a little bit.
Well, of course, when it goes left brain, right brain, it's really balancing the two hemispheres, and actually it's balancing all four parts of the brain as well. So that's one of its major effects. But Martin, what other effects does it have that you found?
Maybe it's a little bit like a kind of sound yoga. If you turn your back and turn it other direction, your body, and it helps you to focus the energy straight. The energy comes up in you, and if you hear the sound, it's a little bit the same like this. It turns around in the other direction, and the energy is focused.
So that would be the energy moving up the governing vessel, Don.
Yeah.
Up and down the.
Well, we all have to have spinning Buddha gongs in our kit, right? When we travel around, they're so effective, especially doing it over the crown chakra while maybe people are lying down in savasana, and the gong players they'll go around and they'll hit it and they'll spin it near the crown chakra, and then they'll take anyone will do. You don't have to have specific ones for the different chakras. It's good if you have, and then you just go over the body and you spin them over all the vortexes of the body. So they're quite effective that way.
Jurek and Pam, you've got huge spinning Burmese bells there. Give us a sound test on those. Nice. That's great. Thank you.
What about that rectangular gong behind you, Tina?
Yes.
I don't have really any of those in my collection, but I'm really looking forward to someday getting a nice one like that. Tell us about it.
This one is a bell plate, and this will hopefully be my next project when I finish all my Trigons.
And you wouldn't know it, but even with that one bell like that, it's like one hand clapping. It's one bell is going like that. What we do is that we also put in the mantra or the sound of the hum here, and we mix it with the thing at the same time. It just amplifies the effect because we personalize it.
They're beautiful. They seem to be like a really pure fundamental.
Yes, the bigger one, is that right, Martin, that it is 2 octaves in the
They are all tuned to 2 octaves, exactly 1 octave. And that's why the sound is very, very clear, clearer than every other metal instrument. Because you have the exact first overtone, the bass tone, and exactly the first overtone. I call them gong oblong.
Gong oblong.
Yes, and I call them church plates because they sound like the bells of the church, or the bell plates.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I have one here that's very similar, made by these were made by I don't think you can get them anymore.
Huh?
They were made by Zildjian. Zildjian calls them earth plates. And it's a very similar effect. I picked these up off eBay. They're still out there. They're still floating around. You can still get them, and they're wonderful things. I got 2 of these, different sizes.
Can you show it again? Oh, no. Thank you.
Zildjian earth plate. They're all going to disappear off eBay now, I think.
So how do you make a gong? Could you just take us step by step in the process of it, because it's so important to be able to make your own gong. Is really everybody should be able to do that.
Oh, imagine that.
When you start studying with Martin, there are a few steps that you must do before making gongs. And one of them, and we have all done as Martin students, we are hammering a little plate, and we're learning different hammer strokes, what hammer technique to make it go up, which it go flat. So you could say that these are the baby steps to making a gong, but
first level.
yeah. And then number 2, we are making a cut. Step 2. And when you pass these first 2 steps, then everything will unfold. I myself have not made a gong yet, but I know Minjun has. So maybe Minjun, do you want to tell us about how you made a gong?
Yeah, but I just made after 4 months of training. I made my first little gong. I don't know. Yeah, this one. This is what I made. My first little gong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of training.
Yes, it takes a lot of training, and I need so many training to my physical body, and yeah.
The hammering technique.
It's not so easy to continue and then make a gong, but that is physical work. Yeah, and but I sometimes I helping Martin to make the first step to hammer the just the first step. No, the ring. It's not just the how to say the flat.
Yeah,
flat, and then the Martin made the ring and fire them.
Fires it, yeah.
And yeah, I can make now the little gong, the little titanium gong, orange. I want to try. I want to show us.
Yeah, Minjun invented the world's smallest gong.
Yeah.
Oh. It's an earring and it's titanium.
Wow. This is the titanium gong. Yeah.
And the mallet to go with
it. And the mallet.
Can you play it? Play it for us.
Yeah, of course. Can you?
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
We are still working on the tuning. But I would actually like for Minjun to share something with you, which is very important to me also, because we are females in a workshop, which I don't know if it's traditionally when men is working, but I think there are not so many women.
Yeah.
And you have made some really nice discoveries about how with your energy and how you can contain.
At first time I want to put the good intentions in the instrument, but it's not easy to just put the good intentions in the instrument, because when I get tired, I will angry, and I cannot concentration to my work.
You also told me that you compared yourself with men in the beginning.
Yeah, I compared myself of men, but let me think about it. Yeah, and then I try to listen my body. When my body get tired, I cannot do anymore. I cannot continue to work, because when I continue to work, I will hurt myself, and I will make so many mistakes in the instrument. And then I need 2 more time
correct
my instrument, so that I try to share my feeling with Martin. I'm very thankful that I work and learned by Martin, because he's very understanding, and yeah, I can stop working when I feel I'm tired. And sometimes when I got period,
when you get your period,
I just stay at home and make me good, and then can I continue to work. And through the work, I can just find a comfortable position to work, and then
beautiful. That's
and
a lovely story. So I'd like to now just take an opportunity, because we haven't got a great deal of time, and I want to make the most of the time we've got. If anybody's got a question they'd like to ask, please just raise your hand and I will unmute you, and we're going to try and get some questions coming in from the group. So this is your opportunity just to let me know that you have a question and you'd like to ask it. Does anyone have a question? Everybody's absolutely spellbound by your story, Minjun, and nobody...
Do you want to see some pictures of the instrument Minjun made? We have.
Yes.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, let's have a look. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna screen share then, and we have.
this is the big triangle.
This is a triangle.
This is a Trigon Minjun made. And she didn't do this. That's wrong. Yeah, this is
That's definitely not an earring.
Okay.
But something for the ear.
Yeah.
One day.
So a plate bell she made.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, this is my lovely. Now I make more like the spacebar, because I feel the female connection, more female connection with this instrument. You can see under the bronzer is the wood. And the wood is very, very soft and very sensitive, and like a woman. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, nice, beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
And this is the waterfall. It's a very...
It's an own chapter, actually.
It's a story by itself. We must have another Gong talk on the waterphone.
But she made it, And, tuning some Trigons.
That's the singing bowl. I just made 2 singing bowls. This is the bigger one, because my first singing bowl, I cost 30 hours.
Yeah, it took her 13 hours to make her first singing bowl.
Yeah.
And, but the second one was faster than.
Oh wow! So right here in front of us, we have the future of Gong Makers, making these beautiful, divine, feminine sound bars there. They look amazing. Just to go to the waterphone there, a little piece of trivia for you. I actually know the man who invented the waterphone. He's passed away now, he's dead. He was the head of music at the Royal Shakespeare Company when I was working in the Royal Shakespeare Company. His name was Guy Wolfenden. and he actually came up with the concept and had the first waterphone made for a show there at the Royal Shakespeare Company, because he wanted a sound, an eerie sound, to be created for a show, and they put it through a microphone. And we had it for a while. I had it as part of a theatre company I was in. It's an amazing thing. So yeah, he was a lovely, lovely man. Okay, John.
I have some questions for our Tina and Martin and all of you. Is that what is the difference between listening to titanium gong and the regular bronze gong, or they're not really bronze gong.
Nickel silver.
Yeah, it's a brass. Yeah, so we're really playing brass gongs in a sense. But what's the difference in the sound? What does it do? How does it affect psychologically the person, or how does it fit into the sound field with that? And why do we have aluminum gongs? I have a few ideas, but I'm not sure they're right.
Okay, over to you guys.
Maybe I say a little bit about titanium.
Thank you.
It's very difficult to say what is the difference of the sound. It's the difference of the effect of the sound. But please imagine that titanium is has a hexagonal crystal structure, like crystal. And one of the I only know very few metals. They have such kind of crystal structure, and it's a little bit between crystal sound and metal sound. The sound of titanium, the effect of the sound. And if you play titanium gongs, the big titanium gongs with the flumi, with the rubber mallet, you can play single tones, single overtones. And how can I didn't know the words to explain to the difference.
It's like violin. It's really like you can make it sound like a clear, crystal clear violin. It's
wow. So you can almost make it sound like a bowl, like a crystal bowl. Is that what you're saying?
Martin's going to show us. Well, you know, titanium is a wonderful metal. It used to be that we were in the Bronze Age. This was one of the ages, yes, and then we went into the Iron Age. The gongs were made in the Bronze Age about, I don't know, 4000 BC. Yes. And then we went into the Iron Age. And then after the Iron Age, it was like the pits. And then we came back up to the ascending Dwapara Yuga. And so it's the new Bronze Age. And I think I call it the Titanium Age. And as I aged myself, I began to become titanium. I have 4 joints that have titanium in them. So I'm almost a relative of titanium now. I thought I would share that little personal.
How does it sound? How does it?
No sound. No, that's.
Did you start to come into resonance there in your hips, Don?
I don't know,
but I would like to say something about my titanium gong. Okay. I have learned more than 30 years until I can make titanium gongs.
Yeah,
really completely difficult.
Wow. I've got to say,
hard to hammer. Is it hard to hammer?
It's completely hammered all over, but it's totally difficult to bring it to good sound. And I have different, maybe you can see it, there's a special light effect in this gong. And I have different ways to create this face from the gongs, how to make the pictures and this light effect. And it's very, very interesting.
Yeah. I heard the dolphin when you were playing there. That's what I got. I was thinking, that dolphin's going to leap out of that gong in a second and start swimming around the room. It sounded amazing.
We're at the end, unfortunately. So let's wrap up for the recording, and then definitely everyone can stay on and keep talking.
Okay.
But we are at the end.
Thank you, Yael. That we would talk forever, wouldn't we, about gongs? Don.
Yes, sir.
I was just thinking then, and it came to me. And there's a little section in the magnum opus of gongs that you wrote, and it talks about the new age of tone. Mm-hmm. The Aquarian period of humanity exemplifies this perspective. I know, therefore I believe. In contrast to the Piscean age, which exemplified the perspective, I believe, therefore I know. And it feels like we really are moving into this new age of tone. Do you feel that?
I do, but I wanted to say something more about the gongs. Most of the gongs that we have are convex and concave, unless they're one of those flat gongs. See, so what is the difference? Because when we play the gong, usually our clients, and sometimes our audience, is on the concave part of the gong. Sometimes the audience is on the convex part of the gong. I was curious about what the difference is in the sound as it comes out the front and on the convex part of it and the concave part of it. Have you noticed that there's a difference in the sound that comes out of it?
Maybe we could bring Martha in there. Martha, are you with us? I'm trying to unmute Martha and I can't yell.
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Hi Martha, you've got a titanium gong made by Martin. And we're going to go a few minutes over time. I'm sorry everybody. Martha.
Yes.
How do you feel about what Don just said about the titanium gong and the sound that's coming out of it?
It's completely transformational.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I'm on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly fortunate in that I've got most of Martin's collection in my studio, and the Age of Aquarius gong is just something that is otherworldly when I play it. And it transports people. And Mitch Nur, when he saw it in January in New York, he shared with me that he, in all of his time with gongs, he's only come across 2 gongs, Age of Aquarius being one of them, that actually had 2 different beats. And he identified that there was a bass tone of a delta beat going whoa, 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 whoa. And then you've got a very broad sound, a mid sound that carries, and just the combination of the 2 of them dovetails with the traditional nickel silver gongs, but not all of them. It depends on the tunings. And the symphonics go very well with the titanium gongs. But Age of Aquarius and Ananda, that's 26 inches in particular, they're incredibly piercing. And for me, the only way I can describe it is it's a very high vibration. It's a very short but very high vibration. So it really does cut through and clear a lot of energy. both within the individuals, in all their 10 bodies.
Oh, I'm just screen sharing your gong there so everybody can see it, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Martha. Okay, we really are out of time, sadly. Thank you. Oh, Aidan wants to speak. He's waving his hand. Hi, Aidan.
Just quickly, Don asked a question. Is one side of the gong different than the other side of the gong? I would perhaps offer the suggestion that the sound of the gong goes outwards, like when you drop a pebble in a pool, the vibrations go outwards. They don't necessarily go down and straight ahead, but it's like a giant donut of sound around the gong rather than coming more directional to the person. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, lovely.
All right.
Both front and back. Thanks, Aidan.
Roundabout.
Great. So, Don, we do have to wrap up now, otherwise I'm going to get scolded by Yell. We'll both get told off later. So, do you want to leave us with a kind of thought for the day? I was interested in this idea of us moving into the Aquarian age of sound. Is there anything you want to leave us with around that?
Well, just a little short story. This timing, this is not enough time to do this because there's so many things we all want to say and share. And I wanted to share with you the first time that I heard a titanium gong. And it was in 1987 for the harmonic convergence. And it was the first time that I had ever been buzzed by a UFO. And when I got to the place, the guy showed me this little disc and I hit it and the sound wouldn't stop. I mean, the suspense, it's suspended for such a long time. I asked him, where did you get this little thing? I'm sure it was titanium. He says, well, you won't believe it, but it fell out of a UFO when it was going over our land. And so I've never heard anything like that before, but it was a little round disc made out of titanium, and it was a wonderful experience.
Where is it now?
I don't know. I haven't.
We've got to get it.
You know, but,
we have to find it and get it. Somebody must have the disc from the UFO.
Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in. Anyway, we're out of time. And I thank you all for coming and hope we see each other again.
Yeah. Sometime. On Thursday. Oh, it's Thursday today, Tuesday next week.
Thursday. And look, if we had more time, it would be greater. Next time we'll do it longer time. But if you have any questions, ask Bob. You can just put it there and then we love questions, you know. That's why we have our singing bowl with all the questions in there, because we depend upon them.
So we can think of the chat as our singing bowl of questions. Don said last night it's Satchita bowl, the chit bowl. So just drop the questions in there. That's beautiful, Martin. Yeah, we'll use that for the future if you can send that to me free of charge.
All right. Okay. Now, everybody knows that if you want to add to your collection, that you might do what Martha did, and that you might check in. Who would she to get one of these gongs or bowls? How would they get it?
Well, Martin's got a website. We're gonna put the details. So,
right,
Yell's putting the details online on the chat, so everyone can have a look and see what's going on. I find now Martin's got his own website, haven't you, Martin, for your work as well? Yeah, he's got his own website. We'll stick that on the chat for everybody. It's inspiring to hear the story, Tina, Minjun, Julian. Thanks for helping out with this as well. Minjun, I love the work that you're doing. It's awesome, and I love your story and your approach. And Martin, you're a god for helping her in such a way and being such a lovely man. I think we all agree. And I love your gongs, especially that dolphin one there. So that would look wonderful behind me, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So thank you very much, Don. Should we leave on a little bit of Shruti?
Yeah, you want to do one for us?
Yeah, why not? Let's just see what comes in. So let's just take a moment to just think about how blessed we are to be able to do this. How blessed we are to be able to come together like this and see each other, share our experience, strength and hope. Listen to these wonderful stories. Open our hearts to each other across miles and miles. However, that distance just seems like a blink in the eye. It's absolutely nothing in the world that we work in. So just reaching out right now to each other with our gong space, with our heart space, and just appreciating all the wonderful things that we have around us in life. Appreciating our teachers, Don, Martin, appreciating those people who share with us today and bring their stories. Yell, Aidan, everybody in the group. Let's just take a nice deep breath in. And let's all mount together, create that beautiful primordial sound. Nice deep breath in. Deep breath in. One more, inhale deep. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace and love to you all. May all beings live in happiness and peace together. May we all tolerate each other and love each other.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jan.